For just a moment, I want you to pause and think about the house you grew up in. Where was it? You probably remember the exact address. In your mind, you can picture the street. It brings back memories of family and friends. What did the house look like? Was the exterior siding, stucco, maybe brick? Was the roof a basic pitch? Did it have a metal roof, asphalt or wood shingles? Did it have a simple square or rectangular floor plan? Or was it more complex? You likely even recall your bedroom and whether or not you shared a bed with or room with your sibling. Did it have a garage? Did it have a carport? If it had a garage, was it a one-car garage, two-car garage? Where did you park your bike? Where was the family car? What did it look like inside? Did it have Formica countertops? Laminate flooring? Did it have that ugly shag carpet you wish you could lay on right now? What about the appliances? Were they orange or yellow? How long was that foam cord right there in the kitchen? If you're like me, you remember almost everything about the house you grew up in. For me, it was a 3-bedroom, brownish red brick, wood shingle, rectangular shaped house with a 2-car garage built by Warren Hannig. In fact, the house my wife grew up in was also built by him with a very similar floor plan, except it had a basement underneath. It was her parents' first house out of medical school. It is also their last house. They still live there today. Over the years, both of these houses have become homes. These homes became stability generationally. They are the place kids and grandkids return to on holidays and special occasions. And if you stop by my in-laws' house on 900 South in St. George, now retired Doc Graff will likely send you home with some of the finest tomatoes and zucchini you've ever tasted, grown from his own garden. Homes mean something. They're a big deal. My wife and I both grew out of a Swiss vine that was planted in Santa Clara over 150 years ago. We went back to Switzerland last fall to the neighboring cantons or counties where our ancestors lived. We ventured into a town called Amhersville and found the old Staheli house built on the banks of a river in view of the church in 1486 and still in remarkable condition. This home was in the Staheli family until the mid to late 1800s. Then it became home for the Solomon family and remains with that family until this day. So my question for you is, where did you start? Did you rent? What were the circumstances that allowed you to buy your first home? How did that shape the direction of your life? To the builders and developers in the room, what you do matters. The homes you build matter. You shape society. Now, I'm grateful for each of you taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here. You've heard it said, seek first to understand, then to be understood. So state legislators, governor's office, Home Builders Association, and of course, the media and other community leaders, you are all here because you care. You're here seeking to understand. And I couldn't be prouder of the work my fellow mayors and their councils and staffs have done to facilitate more affordable housing in Washington County. You will not find greater leaders anywhere in the state. Now, being south of the Payson-Dixon line, Washington County is often either lumped into the rest of the state or forgotten altogether. Our hard work, determination, and unity often goes unnoticed. However, our challenges aren't unique. There are other places in the state that are growing quickly like we are. There are other places in the state that qualify as resort communities, just as we do. There are other places in the state with state and national parks. However, I can guarantee you that no one is as united as we are to tackle the issue of attainable housing. Now, one of the marks of great leaders is their ability to collaborate to find solutions. Collaboration brings people together. Listen to different viewpoints, propose solutions instead of complaints, and cooperate in good faith partnerships. I know that each of our mayors and staffs across Washington County are collaborators. Historically, we have called that ability to work together, often against seemingly insurmountable odds, the Dixie spirit. Each of us here today have shared some of the critical steps we've taken to get government out of the way, to streamline processes, facilitate more attainable housing in our communities. Certainly there is more work to be done, and each of us are willing to continue to do that work. But at the end of the day, there are forces in play that cities cannot control. Most importantly, I want to make it clear that government doesn't build houses. And I hope I'm not alone in thinking that government should build houses. They should not. We have some of the finest home builders in southern Utah. As I've mentioned in my remarks on the panel, these builders have been amazing to work with as they build out, in particular, a vibrant community for young families and first-time buyers in Sunrise Valley, Washington City. I'm confident I can speak for all elected officials here today in saying that we are willing and ready to work with builders who bring forward innovative, creative projects that will provide affordable housing options for our residents. The reality is that it will take an intentional, coordinated effort from all of us to create a housing atmosphere where our children and grandchildren, service industry workers, first responders, teachers, retirees on fixed income can afford to live out the American dream of home ownership. Now, this wouldn't be an effective gathering without a call to action, so I'm going to issue 3. My first call to action is to local elected officials. Be a good partner. Continue doing all you can to address issues that fall under the purview of local government. Be open, be flexible, be forward-thinking with your approach to and decisions regarding land use. My call to action for the building community. Build more homes like you grew up in, or like your parents grew up in. Now, if you grew up in an extravagant parade-style house, then build more homes like the rest of us grew up in. Lead out and bring forward projects that serve as models, common sense, down-to-earth models for the rising generation, creating affordable single-family residential housing targeted toward first-time buyers. Now, I see a few state officials here. My call to action for state officials: continue to look for creative solutions you can control and enact at your level of government, while respecting local land use decisions and authority. And if you can do anything to transfer the excessive supply of encumbered federal and state land back to the private sector at a reasonable cost, that would help tremendously. And I'm quite confident that all of us working together can get the job done. The blame game doesn't work. The types of homes we need right now are simple, modest, traditional. We all have a critical role to play in getting there. And if we don't work together to do this, we risk becoming a community of primarily investors, vacations, landlords, which perhaps means short-term gains, but long-term could mean major loss of the value to the community as a whole. Collaborating with respect and honesty is the approach to take here. You're building homes. Together, we're building communities.